Hi there, back in the pub shed for this video. Mind you, in about probably a couple of days we're gonna be allowed back out to wild camp. So this might be the last video from the pub shed for a while. More adventurous stuff to do outside. But I'm sure we'll find an excuse to come back here. Now, me and my wife have made good use of this pub shed over these last few months. We've been up here all through winter. I've got the heater, so it gets really cosy in here. So yeah, we come up, I come up most tea times, and my wife, she comes up, we come up Saturday night for several hours on a Saturday night. But the one thing that you could say was missing and made it really hard was there's no toilet. So you were having to trek all the way back down to the house to go to the toilet. And in around, I think it was January into February, we had quite a bit of snow, just very wet snow, and having to go all the way back down there, walking down the grass, it was all slushy. You basically have to bring your Wellingtons and change over. So that, it basically gave me an incentive to build not just a pub shed, but a pub toilet attached to the shed. So I'm just gonna finish this pint off, and we'll go next door and I'll show you what I've built. Come with me next door. So this is the area where I've built my pub toilet. When I originally built the pub shed, this area, well, the whole thing was full of gardening stuff. So I thought I'd better leave this space to keep the gardening gear in, and I only used about 2/3 of what was a 14-foot hut to build the pub shed. That's actually 8 foot by 9 foot. And it leaves me 8 foot by 5 foot area here. Like I say, I have moved out quite a lot of the gardening stuff, and this lot will go eventually, and all this area will be part of the pub shed. But I better not move it all out yet. I've got to find somewhere to put it. So yeah, so this left me the area, and I thought, yeah, I get my pub shed, my pub toilet in here. But it's also allowed me to build a new bar area round here. Got a fridge down at the bottom. That's got ice in, cold drinks, etc. Got all the bottled beers round there. And I do have thoughts of putting like a perfect draft lager pump in there. I personally don't drink lager, but with the hot weather, it does seem attractive. I'll tell you a bit more about that later. But that's future plans, that. Now, I know a lot of people are building pub sheds at the moment. With all the pubs shut, it's a great thing to build. And I must admit, it's the best thing I've ever built. I've built countless things, but this is the best. The enjoyment we get up here is unbelievable. And the fact we've now got the toilet, that improves it. A lot of people, so say they've got a shed or a building, they utilise the whole area for the pub. Well, you've got to think, say Saturday night, me and my wife come up here, we might come up 5 o'clock. We don't go home, you can't get out, we don't go home till after 12 o'clock. So that's 6-7 hours. I'm going to have about 6 pints or so in that time. If I had 6 pints, I need to go to the toilet about 6 times. No matter what age you are, you ain't going to hold that lot all night. And before, I had to trek down to the house, which is about 40 metres away. If it were raining, windy, we had snow and slush down, it were horrible. You had to kind of change into Wellingtons, trot down, back up here, sling your wellies off, and it was just a pain, and but you had to do it, and we were like that for a while. But I think that bad weather gave me an incentive to get on and get this toilet built. This transforms it. It was fantastic up here anytime, but this just makes it perfect, just perfect. Now, when I built the shed pub in the first lockdown, I didn't take any photographs. I never thought I would be using it on my YouTube channel. I just got on and built it. So when I built the toilet, I did take a load of photographs. Now the pub is built on a 1940s, 50s style, an old style boozer, just for basically drinking and listening to music. Nice teak wood panelling and subdued lighting. So I wanted my toilet to match. So the toilet is built to the same style, and also I use the exact same techniques, and I did take photographs. I've got to admit, the photographs, some of them are a bit rubbish. I've been using a GoPro for so long that I took these photographs with my DSLR because it had got a nice 10mm wide angle lens on it and I could get it all in. So I used my DSLR, but because I hadn't used it for so long, I forgot how to use it. And it took me a while to realise the thing had got a flash. So the photographs to start with are a bit rubbish, and then I did find out it had got a flash and they improved. But they will show you the techniques I used. And how I went about building this is exactly how I went about building the pub. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to put all these photographs on. You can see precisely how I built it from the base up. I'll talk through the photographs, and then once I've shown you those, I'll show you inside the pub, in the toilet, so you can see it with all its pictures and everything. And then we'll get, it is, I think I said it's based on a, well, it's based on a porta potty, electric porta potty, chemical toilet. I'll bring that toilet out and I'll just show you how that works out of interest. This video, it is about toilets, so that is the theme. So let's get on and look at these photographs now. Now the toilet is based on our old camping toilet. It's a porta potty, Thetford 465 electric, and like all my old camping gear, it is in perfect condition. So all I really had to do was to build a separate room to put the toilet in. Once I had decided on the size of the toilet, it was just a matter of building framework at mainly 3x2 and a bit of 3x3. I just screwed it all together with 4-inch 10 screws and some 6-inch 10s. A power driver was very useful for putting these screws in.
This old sort of power driver Makita, I bought a new battery for it, 20 quid, and it gave it a new lease of life. Make sure all the wiring is in place and the wires are safely hidden below the surface. I found it useful, this experience building the pub, to measure where all the battens are for fixing later on, and where all the wires are, the area to avoid. So I drew it all out, measured everything, and I also took a lot of photographs. They will be useful in the future when you start putting all your pictures or whatever you want to put up on the walls. Final bit of wiring for the lights. This will all be hidden in the ceiling area. Next job was to clad the walls and the ceiling with 12mm plywood. Bought this from Wicks, seemed a good price. I just fixed it with countersunk screws. I think these are something like 1" B8s or 1x6s. That's the reason why I sketched where all the battens were, so you could measure and knew where to screw to fix the boards in place. Once the walls were clad, next thing was to fit mouldings to hide any gaps and give a better finish. I used this moulding stained teak for the sort of to provide like a coving, and then a simple quadrant in all the corners. About 2/3 of the way down, I fixed a piece of dado rail which I'd pre-stained in teak again, and that was to split the stained and painted boards, same as a pub. I then removed the dado and fitted a piece of masking tape. That would allow me to paint the walls above. Not my favourite job. Basically primed the wood, and then I think it was gentle fawn top coat on, same colour as the pub, a nice sort of neutral colour. And then the next thing to do, the wood below the dado rail was stained with teak stain. I used a spirit based stain. It's a lot better than your water based ones. Next job was to construct a door. I used floorboards for this. I managed to fit the diagonals the right way up. A few people pointed out on my pub I got the diagonals the wrong way, and I realised I had. Again, stained it with teak stain. Essential to rub it all over with a cloth before it dries and gives you a uniform sort of coverage and that. The spirit based dyes are a lot better. They basically soak into the wood, and it really brings that grain out to the surface. Once it's varnished, it looks beautiful. Next job, just had to hang the door on a couple of hinges, and then I gave it a couple of coats of a spirit based varnish. I think it was a satin wood. Oh, beautiful smell. Basically that was the toilet constructed. Just a matter of fitting the door latch, and that's it.
We'll have a look at the finished toilet. Not too easy to film in this confined space. As you can see, the toilet is first class, of course. Just open it up. So that's looking into the finished toilet. Now you can see I've managed to decorate the walls with some vintage film posters of the era. Also managed to get a sort of Art Deco light. I just bought the shade, managed to wire that into the lighting circuit. And just drop down, you can see the teak panelled walls. We've even got a vintage sort of replica of a railway toilet roll holder, should I say. As we come round, that's the porta potty down there, which I'm going to pull out in a bit. But you can see I've got matching carpet. I had a bit left over when I built the pub. But yeah, a very useful addition to the pub is this toilet. Makes life an awful lot easier. And obviously it is my job to look after it. Same as a campsite, it is usually the men who have to go and empty the porta potty. So what I'll do now, I'll pull the toilet out and we'll have a quick look at it. I'll just explain a bit about how these porta potties work for people that haven't really seen one. So this is a toilet I've been using. It's known as a porta potty, which is basically a camping toilet, a portable camping toilet. Oh, this brings back some memories, does this? No, not throwing up in it. It's actually the smell of the chemicals. They smell quite pleasant, and as soon as I smell these, I think of the family camping holidays in our trailer tent 15 years ago. I can walk into a camping shop and I can smell the fluid, and immediately memories of camping holidays come back. Real good memories as well. So I'll tell you a little bit about it. It basically splits in two. So the bottom part is the waste holding tank, and the top half is your flush. So that is your flush liquid. You put the concentrated liquid in there, top it up with water, and then you've got 15 litres of flush liquid. Into the waste tank goes the blue solution, and that sort is a chemical that will act on the waste products. I might add, there are only liquid products ever been in this toilet. We've had it 20 years, and that is all that has ever gone in it, and that was the rules when we got it. And like all my camping equipment, it is spotless. You can eat your dinner off this. It is perfectly clean. So you've got your fluids in. The top is 15 litres of your flush, and believe it or not, the bottom waste tank holds 21 litres, and my box of beer comes in 20 litres. So they're basically made for each other. With 20 litres there, 20 litres here. What a perfect match. It's very easy to use. Nice comfy seat. You do whatever you're doing in there. Pull this lever there, and that drops the waste liquid into the holding tank. You can then press the flush. That flushes it, gets it nice and clean. Push the lever back and it's sealed. There are no smells. The only smell there is the pleasant smell of the cleaning fluid. And it works perfectly in my pub toilet there. It's made our life a lot easier knowing we've got this toilet up here. This is a little better than a normal porta potty because it has got the electric flush. But I've had no trouble with it. That runs off batteries and it's worked perfectly well. I haven't used it for about 6 or 7 years, but once I got it out, it worked fine up here. So I feel I've done an awful lot of talking and my mouth is getting very dry. I'm gonna put this back in its toilet, back in its place I've built it, put everything away, and I'll see you inside the pub, and I think we might have a few pints and a little chat. See you in a little bit. Let me get another pint. I'll pull myself a pint and then I'll show you what beer we've got on. We'll let that settle. I'm just going to swing the camera around and I'll show you what beer. I've actually got 2 beers on today. So, the 2 beers we've got on, I'll try and show you. So, you can probably see, got a box here and a polypin there. Actually, both beers came from Kelham Island Brewery in Sheffield. The 10 litre boxes delivered to my door, £30 each. I was hoping to get 2 boxes in, but you can see they're quite deep boxes. I've had 2 10 litres of a different brewery's beers in because they were thinner, but with these polypins they're quite a deep box. Put that down there. So all I did, I took this top one out, which is the Easy Rider, and just put the polypin on top, and it works fine. Works fine. So what we've got, the beer that's actually on tap now, is Kelham Island Easy Rider, 4.3%. As you've probably seen the others, it's one of my sort of favourite beers. It's reasonable strength for drinking all day, all night, and I just like the blonde pale ales. But the one below is Kelham Island Best, so that is just a bitter. But I've made it with this push fit connector. It's very easy to swap beers, so I'm gonna just swap these 2 over. If I remember, I've got to turn that top tap off, and then only have to push on that shoulder, and that releases my beer line. Drops down through the hole in the fridge. Push it onto the Kelham Island Best, open that tap up, and that is the beer changed over. We've now got Kelham Island Best on. Where we haven't, the next pint is going to be a pint of mixed. But this Easy Rider, it's just the right strength. You don't want these like 6% beers. I like to come up, we come up for a long time. So you want a nice sort of session beer, 3.5%, 4%, that is fine. At least you can drink that all day. They do a pale rider at 5.2%. Oh, and that has got me into some right bother. So I'm steering well clear of that. Excuse me. Too much talking. We'll try a pint of mix now, I think. Very useful. Use that for everything. So yeah, we'll shut this lot back up. So we're on the taps open. We're on the Kelham Island Best, and we'll try what will be a pint of mixed. I've only drawn, I think, 1 pint off this mix, so a bit lively at the moment. Just let that settle a little bit. You can see, well, it's probably mostly Kelham Island Best, so it is a darker beer now. More your traditional bitter colour. Yeah, definitely darker, but we'll get sat down and enjoy that. Anyway, cheers, and it's nice to have a drink with you. And I really mean that, because when I read through your comments, a lot of people say, yeah, watch your video and I had a whiskey with you, or I had a few pints with you. And that is, to me, what it feels like. When I'm having a drink now, I'm having a drink with you lot out there. So, it's really good. The scary thing is, there might be 30 to 40,000 people out there I'm having a drink with. But anyway, cheers. All the best for the coming year. And I'm sure it's going to be a lot better than last year. I'm sure it is. So, all the best. Yeah, you can see it is more of a traditional bitter. It's a bit like Marsden Pedigree, Timothy Taylor Landlord, a traditional English bitter, a mix of malt and your hops. Anyway, me and my wife have used the pub, like I say, most of the winter. Our main source of heating has been this simple 3 kilowatt heater. I dare say it'll cost me about £1.50 to run for an hour, but it's not on all the time. It's only small, this, and enclosed, very cosy. Once it gets up to temperature, we have it's got a thermostat on it. It clicks off, so it's probably only on half the time. But that has kept us really warm. I know they do these diesel heaters. A lot of people have installed them. Now it might be me, but I don't like the idea of something burning diesel. I know it's got an exhaust on it and the fumes go outside, but there's no ventilation really in here. And it's made in China, nothing wrong with that. But I won't be happy. Them fumes are circulating outside and we're very compact in here. We drink quite a bit of beer and we might fall asleep. So I just weren't happy with a diesel heater, and I've nowhere to put it. It's got to sort of be fixed in with its exhaust through the wall. Every bit of room is used in here, so I just didn't fancy it. This is convenient. We have it in winter. In another few weeks, I reckon we won't need it, so it won't be used. We'll be going in the other direction then. Now, I am moving with the times, and I have got these heaters and lighting installed on smart switches now. I'll just show you this. Amazing little things, these smart switches. We've got two up here. One is for the garden lighting, so before we come up at night I can press the switch on my phone and it puts the garden lighting on so we can see where we're going. The other one is for the pub heater, so about 20 minutes before we come up I just press the switch on the phone, and as you can see it switches the heater on. So that goes on for about 20 minutes, and when we get up here it's all nice and warm. And just as a demo, you can switch it back off again. All from the phone down at the house. Amazing. Clever stuff, this modern technology. I've also got another smart switch on my phone. So if we've been up here all night, it's freezing cold outside, I've got my electric blanket on here and a switch installed in the house. So I might say, oh, shall we pop back in half an hour? So I get my phone out, click, switch my electric blanket on upstairs on my bed, and when we get back down to the house, my bed is lovely and warm. It's pure luxury, pure luxury. Look, I'm getting a bit older now. I like to have my home comforts a little bit. It is quite nice, this. Different to the pail, but still very nice. But yeah, modern technology. I'm sometimes left behind a little bit with it. But these smart switches were so easy to install, and they've made life a lot easier. Lights, garden lights on, heater on, perfect. And then when we go home, electric blanket. What more could you ask for? I'm just going to finish this off, and I think we'll have another pint and have another chat. A northern pint. If you haven't got one of these places, you won't know the hold it has over you. You cannot get out. We came up a couple of weeks ago at 4 o'clock. Plan was, we've got chilli prepared, we'll nip back down for the chilli. Got to 6 o'clock, do you want to go for a chilli? No, let's just have another drink, another game of cards. Anyways, that was 4 o'clock, and so we didn't have our tea. We carried on. I think my wife went back down about 12 o'clock. I actually can't remember fully what time I went back down, but my son said, "What were you doing coming back down the garden at 2 in the morning?" So I'd been up there 10 hours. Who would sit in their shed for 10 hours? But it was so good. The music was on, we're having a few drinks, and you just can't get out. It just holds you. So if you do build one of these, it'll change your life. You won't spend much time in the house. You'll be up here. Like I say, it's a simple life. All we do when we come up here, 3 things. We listen to music on the record deck. We obviously drink beer. I might drink more than my wife does. And the other thing, we play cards. Such simple things that we did 20, 30 years ago. That's alright. We have got these, and we look at these as well, and we listen to Spotify off them. But we play cards, so I bought these nice little card boxes. Why just have a pack of cards? And we get him. So yeah. So you can put your packs of cards in there, with two packs in there. And then I got this one. I can't open this. I knocked it off earlier and broke all the lid off. But with another pack of cards in there. Probably very cheaply built. I'll get some proper glue on that and get it repaired. So we just play cards. The games we tend to play, well, I suppose our favourite is cribbage. So that is your cribbage board. First one, 221. There's luck and there's skill. I'd love to explain the games, but it'd take me too long. but it's quite mathematical. So you have a drink and then you've got to play this and add up your score. It is a really good game. I'm glad we learnt it. And then the other game we learnt to play, well, I sort of read up and learnt to play this, and then my wife showed me how to play gin rummy. So we played gin rummy as well. To me, that's all or nothing. I can end up with nothing, and my wife, I think it's first to 100, 101. I can be on nothing, and my wife's up be 90 or something like that. We tend to play that later on in the night, and I think I'm at a disadvantage there. But it's good to play new games. We'll probably learn how to play a bit of poker, but we ain't just bet with pennies and stuff like that. There's so many different games. There isn't so many for two people. I used to play years ago when I was at college, and we played a lot of game. I used to like Solo, and I think it was Bragg and games like that. But there was a group of us then. Just for two people, there aren't so many games. Well, that's all we do. You just drink, music, cards. 8 hours. Just gone like that, but an enjoyable and a memorable 8 hours. If we weren't doing that, what would we be doing? We sat down at the house looking at the television. So at least up here, I think it's a lot better mentally for you, definitely. Yeah, we actually talk a little bit more. It is a lot better, this atmosphere up at the pub. Now, something I mentioned earlier that might be interested in getting is your perfect draft lager pump. Now, I don't actually like lager. That's a slight problem. I have tried. We did have a couple of nice days, and I bought some big bottles of Amstel and various German, Belgian lagers, sat out in the sun. And the nice cold beer is nice to drink, but it makes me burp and it don't go down easy. But when it's red hot, yeah, real ale, cask ale, 11 degree, make it a bit cooler, get it down to 9, which is easy. But it soon, you take it out and it soon warms up. So if we're going to have a red hot summer, a lager pump seems a good idea. Something like being on holiday, where we probably won't be going. So I thought, if I can't go to France and places like that, I'll bring it over here. And I can get my little glass of really cool lager, sit out in the sun. It should be really good. I am in the process, we haven't got on for, of building a beer garden. So it will be nice to sit out there and you've got your nice cool glass of lager. The trouble is, I did try these bottles and I didn't really like it. I like the coolness in the sunshine, but I didn't like the fizziness and perhaps the taste a little bit. But my wife will drink lager, her friends like lager, and we have quite a few friends we used to go out drinking with, and they will only drink lager. So it would be a good addition to the pub. Perfect draft. It looks good. I've read about them, so I might get one of those, and it'll make a good video as well, looking at a perfect draft. Now, it might look like I'm just sat in here, put a camera on and just record it. It ain't easy. To get the lighting right, what I'm going to do, I brought my DSLR up. I think I know how to work it. I'll set that up and I'll just show you It's mainly the lighting. It's pitch black in here, so you need lighting, and it causes a lot of problems. It casts shadows if you got the right lighting, and it does cause me problems. But I'll just show you the equipment and lighting that I use to record these videos. Just have a look at this. I'm having a quick drink. So this is my sort of setup for filming. I use my GoPro because it's easy. You press a button and it records. And when you've had a few beers, that's what you want. The trouble with that, it's low light. Filming capability is rubbish. So you need artificial lighting. You would need it with any camera in here because it's enclosed, it's pitch black. So got my GoPro going. My main source of lighting is this, it's a Godox, like a studio lamp. It's a 60 watt, 240 volt floodlight. Probably used in studios and that. My main reason for buying this was my underground explores. So places like Megatron, Meersbrook, Stocksbridge, various railway tunnels, I use this, and like I say, it's a 240 volt. So what I used to take was a battery pack with an inverter built in. So the battery pack would run 100 watts at 240 volts. So I'd be stood, divulging now to other stuff, diverting. So I'd be stood in 2 to 3 foot of water in my waders. I'd have this set up with the battery pack hung underneath, and I could run a 240 volt floodlight in an underground culvert to do the video filming. All my secrets coming out now. Shouldn't be giving all this lot away. But that is my main source of lighting. I'll flick it on. That's at 10%. Fantastic light. You can raise it up with a little remote to 100%. So you can vary your lighting for videoing. In here it's very small. I have it set at 10%. That's my main form of lighting. But it will cast shadows, and it doesn't say catch the carpet or another area. So I have this little battery operated floodlight. That's a newer, runs off 6 AA batteries. And that is a good filling light. So I have that running as well. So you can see it's not just simply let's sit down, have a few beers and film it. It is quite complicated. So I get all my lights set up, and then I got a heater running, background noise. So you got to remember to knock the heater off. You're all ready to film, and then you forget all your words. So then take 2, which means another half a beer to top my glass up. And you do it all again, and hopefully you get it right. It doesn't work like that. So it might look like I've just had a few beers. I might have had quite a few more because I do have to do a lot of retakes. It's got to be right. You can't just put a bit of crappy footage on. It's got to look right and look professional, and as if, yeah, that is perfect lighting as best as you can get it, and everything is right. Anyway, time for another beer. So I'll see you in a sec once I've pulled this. Got myself another pint of Kelham Island Best. As you can see, quite a darker beer now. That's your true colour. More of a traditional bitter, but very nice. Well, where are we? I think it's Wednesday. They all roll into one these days. So I think it's Wednesday. I think next Monday restrictions relax a bit more. And next Monday we're allowed out. We should be allowed out wild camping. I'm not going immediately. I'm going to leave it for a couple of weeks. I know a lot of other people are going to be out. I've been out walking and it is so busy out there. I'll leave it a couple of weeks and then I might head out there. My idea of wild camping is there's nobody within about a mile of me or something like that. Probably a bit antisocial, but that's how I like it. So yeah, I think I'll leave it a while. So my next video will definitely be from inside a tent. That is my plan anyway. But I've got quite a few other videos planned. Various wild camps. Hoping to get back up in the trees. Might do the odd tree camp. I'd like to do that. Not the easiest to do or to film. And I would like to go to France or somewhere in Europe on the train, but I don't actually see that materialising. It might do, we'll have to see. But definitely wild camping. It's good to have a drink with you. Really enjoyed it. And I appreciate all your comments. And when I read those comments, I know we've all raised a glass together. So I'll thank you for watching. I'll see you soon in the tent. And I'll say bye for now. I'm actually off to the toilet now, as I've got one next door. So I'll leave you with a look round my pub shed. And I'll see you in a few weeks. Cheers and bye then. See you then.